Welcome back to Morning Blend. I had a chance to talk with Susan Taylor, the director of the St. Louis Port Authority.
Worked for St. Louis Development Corporation for 18 years, and I've been on the port since 2009 and director for the last. Well, I would say the port is the economic engine of the city. It has been for centuries. We are fortunate we are situated in the middle of the largest swath of arable land on the planet, and it's overlaid by 12,000 miles of navigable rivers. And so we move, over the years, the city has developed additional economic engines, but the port continues to be one. So we move all kinds of bulk commodities, salt, fertilizer, grain, steel products, anything that's heavy and will float on a barge is what we move. And we have 19 miles of riverfront, so we're moving all those goods across dozens of port-related facilities. Chief among them, I would say, is the city's municipal river terminal. The city owns it. We lease out the operations. It's located at the foot of North Market Street. And we recently rebuilt the docks there, so now we have the biggest dock on the inland waterway system. It was a $20 million rebuild. It finished in 2013, and it expanded our mooring capabilities by about 25%, and we're in the early stages of a rail upgrade, $7.5 million rail upgrade to get more railed goods in and out of that facility. So the Port Authority we provide fuel for that economic engine by, we apply for grants, state and federal grants, and so we talk to our Missouri and US legislators a lot. And we can issue bonds. We recently issued a pair of bonds to a major South Riverfront entity that is rebuilding. They're undergoing a $37 million expansion. We have some vacant mooring opportunities, so we're trying to develop those to get more fleeting, which is barge parking on the riverfront, to expand our fleeting capacity here in this harbor. And we're always trying to get vacant land and buildings back on the tax rolls. And so we're an affiliate of St. Louis Development Corporation, which is the city's redevelopment agency. And so we work obviously closely with them to get those properties. There are things like, we have a vacant warehouse and we want to get that reoccupied. And so whoever goes in there is going to be moving goods by rail, possibly by barge, because it's close to our riverfront. And so you would have jobs inside the building of people either manufacturing or moving goods, and then you have associated rail, truck, and barge jobs. And also I should add that we contribute to the economic growth of the region. We think it's really important to compete as a region. And so the Port Authority was very active in the creation of the St. Louis Regional Freightway. It's been underway for about 3 years. And the Freightway has been marketing us to the world. And the Port Authority and the rest of the Freightways team recently signed some memoranda of understanding with ports in New Orleans to try to get more trade. It is strictly Illinois. There are various port districts over there in Illinois that are separate and distinct from our Port Authority. But again, that Freightway is housed at Bi-State Development, and so we try to work with those ports over there to join forces, really, because you really have to compete as a region. You're just going to die if you don't, And so we have very good relationships with the major ports over there. The biggest one is probably America Central Port at the old Mel Price Army Base. There's one in Kaskaskia, and there are a lot of smaller facilities up and down the river there. There's grain facilities, coal. Something like, they're all the states north of us. There's huge grain developing co-ops and farms and whatnot. North of the upper Midwest, so something like 60% of the grain for export floats down the Mississippi, and so it comes onto our riverfront in a variety of locations. The Freightway is working on developing the concept of us as an ag coast, because we have so many facilities right here in St. Louis on both sides of the river that have grain elevators. There are conveyors that move grain from long trains directly into barges. So we have a lot of grain moving facilities here. It's an extremely important product, and it's soy, corn, and it's not only the grains going down, but it's the fertilizer going up to help the grain grow and the salt and things like that.